I'm 91 years old, and I still remember the name of my first school teacher. I remember the smell of freshly baked bread that my grandmother made on Sundays. I remember my husband's face on our wedding day, every wrinkle, every smile. And believe me, at my age, that's not normal. You know what people ask me most when they discover my age? They don't ask me about my secret to longevity, no. They ask me, "And your memory? Do you still remember things?" And I understand why they ask. At this age, many of my friends are no longer here, and those who are, well, some no longer recognize me when I visit them. Alzheimer's, dementia, these words we didn't even know before are now everywhere. You know, when I was young, we called that going senile, and it was something that just happened. Nobody questioned anything. We thought it was an inevitable part of aging until it touches you closely. My older sister, Carmen, she was the first. She was barely 68 years old when she started forgetting little things, keys, the names of her grandchildren. At first we laughed, you know. "Oh, Carmen, you're off in the clouds," we'd tell her. But it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. In 5 years, Carmen no longer knew who I was. She looked at me with those eyes, empty, as if I were a stranger who had entered her house without permission. That was more than 20 years ago, and she's no longer with us. Then came my cousin Rosalia. Then my lifelong neighbor Eugenia. And so, one after another, I watched as this disease took away the people I knew. It didn't just take them physically, you know. It took them from the inside first. It stole their memories, their stories, their essence, everything that made them be themselves. And I started to wonder, will I be next? How long until I start forgetting my children's names? When will I wake up not knowing where I am? When I reached 70 years old, I was already, how can I put it, mentally preparing myself. I thought it was a matter of time. It was like a shadow that followed me everywhere. Every time I forgot where I'd left my glasses, or didn't remember the name of someone I'd just met, my heart would tighten. This is it, I thought. It started. But I'm 91 years old, and my mind is clearer than many 60-year-olds. And it's not luck. It's not privileged genetics. In fact, my family has a history of this disease, as I told you. It's something I did, something I learned, and something that, believe me, changed absolutely everything. I didn't find the answer in a pharmacy, you know. And look, I tried. After what happened with Carmen, I started going to doctors. I wanted pills, supplements, whatever. Give us something to protect us, I'd tell them. Something to prevent the same thing from happening to us. And they gave me options, of course. Preventive medications, memory pills, vitamins in capsules the size of my finger, all very expensive. All with side effects you had to read in tiny letters on the back of the box. I took some of those things for a while. I followed the instructions to the letter. But something didn't make sense to me. Something inside me said that this can't be the only way. It can't be that the solution is only in a laboratory, packaged in plastic, with a price that elderly people can't afford. My grandmother lived to 94 years old, and my great-grandmother to 89, and neither of them took a single one of those pills they sell today. Why? Because they didn't exist. But they had something else. They had knowledge. I grew up watching my grandmother cook. She didn't talk about antioxidants or omega-3.
She didn't know those technical words, but she knew what to plant, what to harvest, what to eat, and most importantly, she knew why. After years of visiting doctors and taking pills that only gave me stomach aches, one day I sat in this very kitchen and thought, what if the answer was always here in what we eat, in what's natural, in what's simple.
It wasn't a dramatic moment, it wasn't a divine revelation or anything like that. It was more a weariness of trusting things I didn't understand, of depending on industries that only wanted my money, of feeling powerless in the face of something that seemed inevitable. So I decided to do an experiment on myself. I was going to go back to eating the way my grandmother ate, the way people I knew who reached old age with a clear mind ate. And for 3 months, just 3 months at first, I was going to eliminate everything processed, everything that came in a box, and focus on 7 specific foods. 7 foods that, according to what I researched on my own, had something special for the brain. And what happened after is what brought me here today to tell you this story. Because what I discovered wasn't just that my memory improved. I discovered that I'd been lied to my whole life about where the power really was.
This is my diary from that time. I started writing everything down because, honestly, I was afraid of forgetting it. See the irony? I was doing this to not forget. And the first thing I did was write it down so I wouldn't forget I was doing it. First month, day 1. Today, I decided I'm going to eat like my grandmother. I no longer trust pharmaceuticals. I no longer want to depend on pills. I'm going to try for 3 months. Just 3, and we'll see what happens. The first thing I did was go to the market. Not the big supermarket, the real market. The one where they still sell fresh things, where the lady who sells vegetables, where you can touch and smell before buying. And I started looking for my 7 foods. 7 foods that, according to what I read in old books and the few things I could find back then about natural nutrition, could make a real difference. The first was walnuts. Look at this. Simple, right? My grandmother always had a jar of walnuts in the kitchen. She said they fed thought, and she didn't know about science, but she was right. Walnuts have something called omega-3, something the brain needs to function, to connect ideas, to remember. I started eating a handful every morning. At first it was hard for me because the taste is strong, kind of bitter, but it was part of the experiment, so I swallowed and continued. The second, fish, but not just any fish, real fish, bluefish, as they call it, sardines, salmon, those with darker flesh. Oh, and let me tell you that at first my family complained. Sardines again? My grandchildren would say, but I insisted 2-3 times a week, grilled, baked, however. And fish has something special that protects brain cells, like a shield. My grandfather, who was a fisherman, ate fish every day of his life, and that man remembered even the name of every fish he caught. The third, blueberries, these little purple things. I wanted these by intuition, because purple things with strong colour, always have something good. That's what my grandmother taught me. If it has colour, she'd say, it has life. And blueberries. Oh, these are miraculous. I ate them at breakfast with a little oatmeal, or just like that, as a snack. And something I noticed in the first 2 weeks was that I started waking up with more clarity. Like the morning fog, that feeling of being half dazed when you get up went away. Snap's fingers, just like that, disappeared. The fourth, spinach. And really any green leaf, chard, kale, dark lettuce, all that. Ah, this smell. This is the smell of earth, of life, not plastic and chemicals. Green leaves have something called, what was it? Thinks, ah yes, folate, and vitamins that the brain needs to stay young, to not oxidize. Because the brain oxidizes, you know, like iron when left outdoors. It gets old, rigid. But these leaves clean it. I started making big salads, not those sad ones with 2 pale lettuce leaves. No, real salads with fresh spinach, a little lemon, olive oil, delicious. And here's the 5th, olive oil, but it has to be extra virgin, you know, not those watery junk they sell in plastic bottles. This shows the bottle, real oil, golden, thick. That smells like freshly pressed olives. This was the easiest for me because my grandmother always used olive oil. For everything. She put it in salad, in vegetables, even on bread. And she always said, olive oil cleans the veins. And she was right, because what it does is keep the blood flowing well. And when blood flows well to the brain functions well. Simple, logical. The 6th, chocolate. But not children's candy, you know. Real chocolate, dark, bitter, the kind that's 70%, 80% cocoa. At first I made faces when I ate it. This tastes horrible, I thought. But later, over time, I started to appreciate it. And something curious. After eating a little piece of dark chocolate, my mind would clear up, like someone had opened a window in my head and fresh air came in. And cocoa has. It has things that improve circulation in the brain, that make more oxygen arrive, more blood, and that translates to more clarity, faster thinking. And the 7th, legumes, lentils, beans, chickpeas. These are the oldest, the most forgotten, and the most powerful. My great-grandmother said that legumes are the food of the poor that makes them rich in health. And look at that. This woman with no formal education had more wisdom than many doctors today. Legumes regulate blood sugar. And when sugar is well regulated, the brain doesn't suffer those peaks and crashes that leave you dizzy and confused. They also have B-complex vitamins, which are essential, not optional, essential. And so, these were my 7: walnuts, fish, blueberries, spinach, olive oil, dark chocolate, legumes.
The first few days I felt nothing, not even the first week. Honestly, I was starting to think I was wasting my time. But I continued because I had committed to 3 months. Just 3 months. In the second week, I started to notice something subtle, very subtle. When I got up, my mind was more awake. I didn't need that double coffee I used to drink before. I opened my eyes and was already alert, present. In the third week, something more obvious. I stopped losing things. Before, I'd leave my glasses anywhere and then spend half an hour looking for them. But suddenly I remembered. I left them on the nightstand. I put them next to the vase. Just like that. Clear. At a month and a half, something incredible. I was watching a movie with my daughter, and she asked me, "Mom, what was the name of that actress from the movie we saw last year?" And I said the name, just like that. without hesitating, and then I told her the name of the movie, the year we'd seen it, and even who we'd gone to the cinema with. My daughter looked at me like she'd seen a ghost. "Mom," she said, "how?" And I didn't understand either. But something was happening. Something was changing.
But the moment that changed everything, the moment I knew this was real, was 2.5 months in. I went to visit my friend Eugenia. Her Alzheimer's was already very advanced. She lived in a special facility with nurses who took care of her. I visited her every week, even though she almost never recognized me. That day I arrived and, as always, I said, "Hi, Eugenia. It's me, Elena." And she looked at me. She looked at me with no expression, like always. I sat beside her and started telling her things. Old memories. Do you remember when we used to go to the town square as teenagers? When we'd sneak off to the movies without our mothers knowing? And at one point, I don't know why, I started telling her about my experiment. I told her about the 7 foods. I said, "Eugenia, I'm eating the way we used to eat, like when we were little girls, and I feel like my mind is alive again." And she looked at me, and for a second, just 1 second, I saw something in her eyes, a spark, as if for a moment she had come back. And she said softly, "That's good, Elena, that's good." It didn't last. A minute later, she was lost again, but that moment broke my heart, and at the same time gave me hope. Because I understood that the difference between Eugenia and me wasn't genetics, it wasn't luck, it was choice. Eugenia had eaten processed food her whole life. She drank soda, ate packaged cookies, everything sold in supermarkets, and then pharmaceutical companies sold her pills to cure her. But it was already too late. I, on the other hand, had gone back to natural food, in time, and my brain was thanking me for it. I finished the 3 months, and then I continued, and it's been more than 20 years since then. 20 years eating these 7 foods, not all of them every day, but incorporated into my life in a constant, real, committed way. And I'm 91 years old, and my memory is here, intact, clear, alive. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe the solution is in their laboratories, in their pills, in their expensive treatments. And I'm not saying modern medicine isn't useful. It is. It saves lives. But they've made us forget something very important. Our body knows how to heal itself. It knows how to protect itself. It knows how to regenerate if you give it the right tools. And those tools don't come in plastic boxes. They come from the earth, from the sea, from the trees. My brain at 91 is not a miracle. It's a consequence of decisions, of priorities, of trusting what my grandmother knew without needing a university degree. If you're listening to me and you're afraid of losing your memory, of losing your mind, of becoming a burden to your family, listen carefully. It's not written in stone. It's not inevitable. You have power, more power than they've made you believe. Walnuts, fish, blueberries, spinach, olive oil, dark chocolate, legumes. They're not magical. They're not an absolute guarantee. But they are tools. Tools that nature gave us and that industries want us to forget, so they can sell us their artificial solutions.
I'm 91 years old, and when I look in the mirror, I know who I am. I remember my childhood. I remember my husband. I remember when my children were born. I remember everything. And that is priceless. Don't wait until you have symptoms. Don't wait until you forget something important. Don't wait until it's too late, like it was for my friend Eugenia. Start today, with one food, with two, with whatever you can. But start. Nature already did its part. It gave us everything we need. It's here, simple, accessible, real. Now it's our turn to do ours, to choose. To choose to trust what's natural. To choose to trust the wisdom of our grandparents. To choose to live with a clear mind until the end. And if you ask me, what was your secret? I'll point to this table. And I'll say, it was always here. Because sometimes the most powerful answer is also the simplest. Thank you, nature. Thank you, Grandma. And thank you to myself for daring to trust.